Okay, this is Mr. Solomon. Welcome to another edition of Minecraft EDU here at Village East, and we are starting a new project, which is a collaboration between Dakota Valley, which is another school in our district, and Village East. So this is the first time that students are actually working with partners who aren't sitting in the same room. So we talked about using 21st century skills to communicate and collaborate, be digital citizens. We've gone over this poster, which is in our class. And then this is their checklist. So their task is to build a house together with their partner. And these are the requirements: 20 by 20 area, stone or brick walls, a roof, front and back door, gardens that are 10 by 10 or bigger, a fence, windows, rooms, stairs, have a path, lighting, beds, painting. And they're using the book and quill to communicate back and forth with each other inside the game. Here's our rules that we go over every time. So students are going to use their first name, don't destroy or attack others, and now let's check in on how things are going. So Mr. Clark is the teacher over at Dakota Valley. I'm Mr. Solomon, Village East. So inside here is where we started. Students grabbed the book and quill. There's only one left. And so that's how they're going to write to each other. So as I start looking around, I can see here's our students working on a very large house. Mason is from Dakota Valley, and this is IOD number 1, so you can see they're working together. Here's our next pair of students working on their house. It's looking good. As we keep walking around, we can kind of see they're using the chat feature. So if I press T, you can kind of see how they're communicating with each other. It's much more quiet in the room since they're realizing that saying something to their partner here doesn't help because they're not here. So these two are working on that house. This is a very big house. There's some stairs starting. So you can see these two even have the same skin, which is interesting. Here's our next house. So we can see these two are working on separate houses. And we gave them that option. So here we have our garden. Let's look inside. So I can see they're decorating the inside of their house. Students are working together. It's good to see. This is a nice path around the house here. I like that. Coming right from the entrance. So everybody's houses are looking a little different. They've got paintings on their walls. So we can look around here. They got a nice pattern on their floor here. These guys are doing a nice job. Brick stairs. This house is even bigger than 20 by 20, so they're using an even larger area. This is an interesting use of glowstone. There's some steps up to the next one. So I see one person. I got to see where their partner is. Looks like their partner is working on a table. So here's students using the book and quill back and forth to communicate. And here's another good example of a house with a nice blue carpet. It's a nice roof here. They need some windows. So it looks like they're working. They're working on it. Here's your garden. Here's your house. Looks like you got a fireplace. So everybody's doing something a little different. And today's going much better than yesterday, where some kids were accidentally destroying each other's work and they were getting frustrated. So you can see each one has their own task that they're working on. There's a book and quill hanging around there. Just scooped it up. Another house with windows. So everybody's doing a really nice job. I'm going to zip around to the last area here, just so you can see every house. So there's our steps. There's our top floor. I'm not sure what this giant tower is. We'll see. So there's our two students working together. So everybody's working on this project and they're all doing a good job. These two are doing separate houses, it looks like. But you can see how the designs are also different. Here's somebody putting a nice pattern. So this is the first time students have a chance to work with somebody other than their classmates. So it's been a great example of communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and most important, creativity. I'll check in on this project in a couple of days towards the end of the week, and you can see how they're progressing. Okay, welcome back. This is day 4 of our project, the collaborative house build between two of our schools, Dakota Valley and Village East. This is Mr. Solomon. Our students here at Village East are currently on a field trip today, so the Dakota Valley students are on their own. The way to see who is online is press the tab key, and so then I can see all of the names. Those are our students from Dakota Valley. Students at Village East always put a number after their name. That's what we've talked about. And so let's go observe their progress since we last recorded them on Tuesday. So I'll go to sections 1 to 8. I can fly. I have that set up. So you can see the houses have really made some improvements since we last visited them. This has a nice porch outside. Let's look inside. There's not much inside yet, but the outside's looking good. And it looks like we have a second house over here too. So this one's nicely decorated. Yesterday I showed students Bibliocraft, which is a mod that lets you add some extra interiors, such as tables and lanterns, like you're seeing here. I'm going to swing around this house, so they still need to work on a garden. Here's another section with a nice large house. I like how they did their path. So let's go in here and take a look. So here we have tables and chairs. We've got some torches. Looks like there's a room here that has some beds. It's got a furnace, got a chest. Looks like that's their workspace. So some really impressive designs we're seeing here. This is the beginnings of their garden. House number 3, here's a path. We've got some water. We were having some water issues before. Here's a nice pathway leading to the house. So these students have really done a lot here. If we look inside, I see decorations. Nice pattern they have here. Here's a communal table. They have stairs that leads to the upstairs. Here's another chest. It looks like some tables. Rooms. Oh, so I caught somebody working. Look at that. There's Daniel from Dakota Valley. He's probably wondering what I'm doing staring at him working. So let's keep going around here. They've got some trees built. This house has a pressure plate to enter. They've got their pathway set up. So here's the inside. We've got some glowstone. We've got some food on the tables. So you can see there's been significant improvements since we last checked on these projects. Someone even has a bathroom. So it looks like a shower. Looks like a potential toilet. There's some decorations on the walls. It's looking good. It's a very nice looking house they've got there. This one even built a fountain. So you can really see how much progress we've made, and this really gives students a chance to demonstrate some of the things they know how to do in a constructive way. So I can see they have fountain with chairs sitting around. It's a nice job. Let's follow the path. There's again a mailbox. So students are learning about Bibliocraft. To see Bibliocraft, if you go into inventory and you click on page 2, down here at the bottom, the bookshelf is Bibliocraft. So here's where you can see a lot of lamps, tables, bookcases. Chairs are done in 2 parts. First you put the seat down and then you add a back to the chair, which are these. So it's constructed, it's almost crafted. And so there's some really nice mods that make it look very authentic. Okay, which direction was I headed here? Students are starting to use trees a lot, I see. It's an interesting house. They have a smaller house here on one side. There's a printing press. This house doesn't quite have a bottom yet, but we're getting there. This house doesn't have a roof, but they've got the beginnings of it. So here's our 2 beds. So it's interesting to see the variety of designs that students come up with and how they made the choices of where to put things. I like how they have communal tables here. So it's like a dining room. And then they each have their room labeled. And I can see students are asking, "Can you see my house?" So I'm going to try to show you as many houses as I can on this quick drive-by here. There's Michael. Looks like he's working on something. Someone got to remember to put 2 floors down. Okay, I think I've seen that one. So that's groups 1 through 8. Now let's go back to our beginning. We'll check on groups 9 through 16. Here's a giant house. So I'm going to look through. This was our glowstone. Here's our stairs up to the top floor. Here's the second house. There's a student from Dakota working on that. I'm not even sure what that is. That's interesting. Some interesting decoration choices students have made. This house still needs a roof. They do have some trees though. Looks like someone's building a swimming pool. Lindy, that's interesting. Still needs a path. Let's look at the inside of the house. So this is the upstairs. Oops. I've got high-speed building on, so that's why it's hard sometimes to stay in one place. High-speed building, pressing T, you can see I can choose my speed. So if I slow my speed down to half, 50%, it's a little slower. Might be a little more accurate for me. I see something going off in the sky there. There's a nice pathway. So we talked about trying not to make the roofs flat, to make them triangular. There's Sandy working on her bedroom. There's a bathroom that you can see. There's our upstairs. This is our downstairs. That looks like a bedroom. So I think I've reached the edge of one. Here comes another. It's a nice decorated path they've got here. So I've got some scarecrows, mailboxes. There's our dining room. So I can send messages to students. Here's our backyard. There's a bedroom. There's the 2 beds. Nice job. Let's go to the backyard and see. Lovely garden we have here. Looks like somebody's working on a swimming pool. So then I can send a message to the students over at Dakota Valley and say something like, "Don't forget to add a painting in your houses." And they'll all see that, which is nice. Here's some blue checkers. There's our stairs. That's another thing not everybody remembered to do. There's our upstairs. There's our rooftop. Here's house number 2. So these students, looks like they're each building separately. There's somebody adding some bookcases. Looks like a nice reading library. They have a lot of books to read. Let's see what's in this room. Ah, there's another library with a ladder. That's interesting. Okay, I think I've seen all of these houses here. On this side, this one's using glowstone. You can see how the paintings just sort of randomly appear. That's how paintings work. Someone used a computer as a television, which is a nice idea. And then we've got one more section of houses. So that was 1 through 8. It was 9 through 16. And Now we have 17 to 24. Very tall house here. VIP only. So it looks like they're customizing their rooms. This is the upstairs, which isn't quite finished yet. But you can see paintings on the walls. We've got the steps. It's a nice looking house. There's another one. There's a nice garden. There's our path. So some of these houses are quite vacant on the inside. There's our upstairs. And I can see who's working on the room. So I'm waiting for Mohammed to turn around and notice that he's being watched. There you go, he just looked at me. So these guys had a water feature that we talked about. It wasn't really, it was using a beacon, and it was sort of making a mess around their area, so we talked about taking that out. That was in there yesterday, but not today. Okay, here's our friend Mimi working on her room. Here's a nice computer screen. So they used a painting, a chair, and a table, or steps, to simulate a computer. There's the television. Got some floating books. This is a nice job decorating it here. And so this is house number 2. Someone likes lanterns, you can tell. This house is waiting for a roof. So everyone's in a different stage of completion, as you can see. And so that is the overview of our house project. We have one more day. Students are going to be completing a Minecraft reflection. So if I pause my game and then open up Safari, I'll show you what students are going to do at the end. So on our Village East proto page, I added a section on Minecraft, and there's a water challenge specific reflection form, and then here is our Minecraft reflection form right here. So I shared that with Dakota Valley, and this is where students can fill out a Google form that will be sent to both me and Mr. Clark. So your name, your grade, what are you learning, how can you apply what you learned, how were you a digital citizen, did you help your friends, what kind of 21st century skills did you use, choose one of these and describe it in some more detail. And then I always like to ask what other projects students would like to complete. So there's an example of what to do when you're finished as a reflective writing. It's been a great project. I think next time Dan and I talked about if we did this again, we would have kids use a Google Draw document on the first day and sketch their houses. And then we can compare how close their sketches look to the actual house they built in Minecraft. But it's been fun. So I want to thank Dakota Valley students and Mr. Clark, and thanks for watching.